Welcome to Lead Your Life, the podcast for people who are seeking harmony in business and in life. My name is Debbie Heiser, and I'm an inner mastery and business mindset coach and the chief igniter here at the Lit Up Life. I feel an urgency to help people let go of past messaging so that they can make a lot of money doing what they love without sacrificing what they value most. Welcome. We're glad you're here.
Straight from the corners of my mind is where I find my sanity. It's a place, another land,
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lead Your Life with Debbie Heiser. My name is Debbie Heiser. I help entrepreneurs make a lot of money doing what they love to do without sacrificing what's important to them. I find it really important in my life to help other people create a life that they want and let the business be a conduit of that versus the business running their lives. So I am excited. I know I say that every week, but I get excited with the guests that I have. And Ana Tootle, she is in Miami, and she and I met through an international group, FemCity. And I highly recommend it for anyone that's listening. It's a networking group, and you don't have to be local. There are local chapters in different places. But I have met so many wonderful people, including Ana. And so I am just intrigued, which is why I wanted to have Ana on. She does some really cool stuff. Today worked out because she didn't have farmer's market. And I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell a little bit about how she serves in the world. And then we're just going to have a conversation.
I love that. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad that we finally squared it away.
I know.
The stars lined up and here we are. So I'm excited to be here as well. My name is Ana Tootle. I am the founder and CEO of Feel Good Foods Incorporated, doing business as Elevated. So I wear three hats in essence. Feel Good Foods is dedicated to helping to end hunger in our local communities. I bake homemade pumpkin bread to help and support Feeding South Florida. Feeding South Florida is under the umbrella of Feeding America, and it services 4 counties, all the way from Broward, Dade, Monroe, and West Palm Beach. And we help families that are going through tough times not have empty refrigerators, have food on the table. And the age ranges from little kids all the way to seniors. And my motto is no one should go hungry, at least
Yeah.
not under my watch, and if I can help it.
Yeah.
Second, Elevated, the DBA, is dedicated to teaching mindfulness and meditation practices that are simple but effective and powerful for the busybody, for the person who says, I don't have time for that. Guess what? You're the one who needs it the most. My plate is full. What's the big deal? You need it. I've been there. I know what it's like. So mine is a 4-step recipe. Sometimes it's called Empower Hour, depending on the group, but basically it's a 4-step process for incorporating mindfulness practices into your busy schedule. And we go through not only the what, but the how. Like how are you going to incorporate it? Because all that sounds beautiful and lovely, but until you show up and you are disciplined, a all the magic begins to unfold. And therein lies the challenge. How am I going to fit it in? Right? I'm already busy. My plate is full. Been there, done that. And when you do, it pays off significantly. And then third, I am the president of FemCity Miami. As Debbie had mentioned, FemCity is business for your soul. FemCity is all about gratitude, good vibes. It's about supporting one another in business, and it's about community and impact. And so I have, as the saying goes, the belief that the tide raises all boats. When I empower and uplift another woman, I'm empowering myself. And so it causes a ripple effect that it's an inevitable win-win. And so I wear those three hats. And if you look at the common denominator is community, because I have learned, especially since COVID, that really we elevate the individual through community. We are not wired to go it alone. We are not wired to sail the seas all by ourselves when we have so many people around us that could support us, that are willing to support us. And then in the process, we are happy to do the same back. So that's in essence what I do.
Yeah, so phenomenal. And I want to go back. You said so many things. I was taking little notes here to make sure that I went back to them. So what got you into, like, you have a passion about this idea of no one should go hungry. So what got you into making pumpkin bread every week?
So I am a foodie by nature. I love taking pictures of food. I love to cook. Cooking relaxes me. It's my happy zone. I'm intrigued about the abundance that's on the planet that Mother Nature provides. And I've always thought, why? Like, why are people going hungry? There's
Yeah.
something in the process that's not right. There's just so much food is thrown out every year. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Nobody. And it's a basic human need. It's a basic necessity. And so I always thought that there's like a kink somewhere that needs to be fixed. And so I took my passion of being a foodie and cooking with something that meant a lot to me. So everybody has something that they're passionate about. Maybe it's breast cancer awareness, environmental issues, pet shelters, whatever it is,
Hmm.
whatever lights you up. I always say pursue that because you're going to do it better. You're going to do it with more passion. You're going to do it. For example, when, we've had inflation the last couple of years since COVID, and admittedly, eggs have gone up, flour, sugar, everything. And I kept the price at the same level, the same price point, because I thought this is this is to help other people. Like for me, the pumpkin bread is all about feeding South Florida. So people will often ask, to your question, hey, do you make carrot cake? And do you make, I'm not
Yeah.
a baker per se, I'm more of a cook, and I'm just somebody who makes a simple, wholesome product with a lot of love. And
Yeah.
no, it's not vegan, but it doesn't have nuts. And some people will say, is it gluten free? No, this is just a simple homemade product that people love to purchase, and they know that, oh, by the way, I'm helping make a difference. So it's like a win-win. That's how
Yeah.
that came up.
So then do you take the money that you make selling that at farmers market and give it to, okay.
So I take a percentage. So for every $10 loaf,
Yeah.
I donate $1 to Feeding South Florida. That dollar provides 9 meals because they have
Wow.
become so efficient. They have two food banks, one in West Palm and one in Pembroke Pines, which is like in the North Miami, Pembroke Park, sorry, in the North Miami area. And they just do an amazing job of just distributing. And the food banks are impeccable. The trucks line up, and they distribute all over. And during a time of COVID when a lot of people were out of work or couldn't work, it was essential. That was their only way of
Yeah.
feeding themselves and their families. And so I just have a big place in my heart for Feeding South Florida. And so if you look at some of my past videos and stuff, I will often like teach people how to cook quick, simple recipes. And so I think food is fun, which makes me a foodie.
Yeah,
By the
I
same
love that.
token, no one should be denied that pleasure.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And Anna, when you said that, it got me to thinking. So before you started mindfulness, before you started the Feel Good Foods and came in and are the president of FemCity, what did you do prior to that?
Well, prior to that, let's see. Well, I come from an entrepreneurial family. My mother, after graduating, my mother, who started hanging wallpaper for her girlfriends in the 80s, just evolved into an interior decorator and did very, very well. And when I got married and started popping out children, my mindset was all about business, and it still is, running a business. And hers was very a creative end. And so while I was raising three kids, I helped do the administrative side, which came naturally to me. So it was a good combination. It was a great experience. And so that feeling of just running your own business and managing your own time, people think it's easier, but it's not because you're responsible for a lot. um, we endured Hurricane Andrew, which changed the
Yeah.
building codes here in South Florida. Hurricane Andrew was in 92. And so there was a huge transformation in remodeling, and anything you wanted to do had to pass a lot of stringent muster, if you will, since we knew what a hurricane can do. And so that always stayed with me. And I've always been passionate about health and wellness. So when my youngest of three was about a year and a half, I got certified to teach spinning. for my mental
Oh,
health
yeah,
because I had, I needed a way to get out of diapers and tantrums and my
right,
kids are really close in age, so I thought, okay, this is my healthy way out. And I've always been intrigued with not only wellness and health but also mindfulness, self-empowerment, and then how to use it to
right.
help your own life. And so
Mm,
that just naturally evolved. In about 2010, I started writing about it. I started an e-newsletter back then
yeah,
called, what was it called? I am blanking out right now. Not key insight. Oh, Inner Universe. And so I would share everything that I was learning. And how did that segue into meditation was that it kept coming up. It
yeah,
kept coming up in everything that I was reading and researching. And I thought, that's why I say I've been there. I was like, oh man, I'm raising 3 kids. I'm working. I am trying to eat well. I'm exercising. Now I have to add meditation to the mix. What the heck is the big deal?
right.
Like, what is the big deal? But the research was undeniable. People's lives were changing. Their health, mental and
Yeah,
physical, was better. And so I said, okay, let me just add one more thing and try that. And as life would have it, and the 2009 crash hit our family hard, and so I felt like an urge or a need to dig a little deeper. And meditation, I figured this is the only thing that I'm not really doing. And so
yeah,
I showed up, and admittedly, I thought I failed. I would fall asleep. My mind would wander, and I'd be like, God, I have so many other things I need to be doing. Like my to-do list is full, and what's the big deal? But I was like, okay, I'm gonna stick it out. And I did. And now I
yeah,
can't live without it. So I've been on the other side of that coin. So I know.
yeah,
And then what happened was, I guess, transformational, but subtle, but enough to catch your attention and say, you know what? There is something. And so I guess my spin on it is my perspective. And I
yeah,
feel that that perspective or that experience could offer some help for the skeptic because I was a skeptic.
yeah,
I've been there, right?
absolutely.
But I
Absolutely.
like to put it in a way that is practical for people.
Yeah. And so, Anna, we're going to take a quick break. And I said Anna, I'm sorry. I have a good friend of mine that's Anna, and I have a ton of Annas in my life, and I do that all the
That's
time.
okay.
So, Anna, we're going to be right back. And when we come back, I want to find out from you, like, what kind of transformation happened? What did meditation do for you? And what does it do for other people? So we'll be right back. Let's talk about something every entrepreneur faces: selling. It's one of the biggest topics I hear from my community and clients. How can I sell without feeling the ick? I get it. And that's exactly why I created an ebook that guides you through the same script I use to grow my business year after year by leading sales conversations with heart and soul. If you want a selling approach that feels right, head over to thelituplife.com/ebook and grab your copy today. Now, let's get back to today's episode. Okay, we are back. And Anna, I want to find out, when you were talking right before the break, you mentioned that it was subtle, but there was this transformation that occurred, right? And I call it the slow fade or the slow grow, right? Like there's just these things that happen that all of a sudden it's like there's something different happening here. So tell us a little bit about what happened to you. And then we'll talk a little bit more about what you see happening with people that you work with.
Of course. So for me, it was, I guess the best way that I can describe it or liken it to is that nothing like meditation will help you access that inner wisdom that we are already born with.
Yeah.
So I believe that we are born with more wisdom that we give ourselves credit for. And what happens is life begins to shape us, and the people around us begin to shape our ideas and our thoughts. We kind
And we're
of
taught not to
wane.
trust that.
Yeah, we're kind of trained and taught to look outside of ourselves. So what does that look like as adults? Maybe I need another glass of wine. Maybe I need more chocolate. Maybe I'll do a little bit more shopping. Outside, outside, outside. So really, meditation is that fast pass access to that inner wisdom. So I always tell my students or my clients, When you start to meditate, you will notice, for example, that burning question that you had that was driving you crazy, all of a sudden the answer slips into your experience because you've opened up that valve to that inner wisdom. Or the person that used to rub you the wrong way and they would just make you irritable, and they don't have that power over you anymore because you know better. But why do you know better? Because you took the time to listen. So we wake up and it's outer technology all day. I'm not knocking technology. Thanks to technology, you and I are here talking. I
Right.
love
Right.
technology, but we are glued to that all day. And in the morning, people will do that first. We'll grab that first. How many emails and how many texts and how many messages and blah, blah, blah. I encourage people tap into that inner technology first.
Yeah.
Takes a little practice. It's not difficult, and your mind can wander, but sooner or later, you start to appreciate that peace and that calm and that inner voice. And then that inner wisdom and that inner voice can take center stage for a few minutes a day, and boom, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you know what? Clarity comes in, peace comes in, and it's been there all along. We're just not taught how to access it.
And all of those things that I hear a lot of clients searching for, right? That they want peace, they want tranquility, they want joy. And to your point, when I meditate, and I don't do it as regularly as I'd like to, but like when I meditate and I slow down, I teach a class at Gonzaga called Foresight and Strategy, and we do a lot of that inner work and look for foresight, right? Which is that inner wisdom. And whenever I do that, it's how do I say this without sounding weird? But it's almost like this like efficiency hack, for the lack of a better word, right? Like I find I'm so much more efficient because, to your point, this clarity comes and I'm at peace with it. And I'm not questioning, I'm not like spending energy doubting where I'm supposed to head. It's so much clearer. And it seems, for me anyway, my experience has been not that life is always easy, but there's an ease to it, right? You're in flow. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're in tune with a smarter, more intuitive, um, more how do I say? Yeah, smarter and more intuitive, wiser version of yourself when you take the time to meditate. It's that easy. And a part of you already knows better.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's your recommendation? Like I've had, for me, there are times I like guided meditation, but I have an app that I can set like a sound to start me off, and I can set how many minutes I want to go. So I'm not like,
Mhm,
oh my gosh, what time it is, right? And then
mhm.
it sends an ending kind of gong, and I use a singing bowl sound. And,
I love that.
sometimes if I just have 10 minutes, that is plenty of time for me to get in touch. What's your recommendation? Like for people just
I
starting?
say do whatever works for you, but my recommendation, and especially if you don't have a set routine, is like you're just beginning, I strongly recommend setting your alarm clock a few minutes earlier in the morning. Say you like to wake up at 7, set an alarm at 6:50, 6:45, 5, 8, 15 minutes. Maybe it turns into 20 or 30 minutes. Maybe you can only pull 4 minutes. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Do what works for you, but fit it in, fit it in, fit it in. And I hear people say, oh, but who has time? Hey, you were standing at Starbucks for a latte for 8 minutes. You have time to meditate. If
Right.
you're binge watching your favorite shows on Netflix, I'm so sorry. You have time to meditate. It's
Right.
that easy. And it's your health. Like this is your health. This is an act of self-love. Who else is going to give that to you? So I always say, before life begins, before you make coffee, before you turn on the TV, before you grab your phone, before you make lunchboxes, before you get the backpacks, before you go to carpool, blah, 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 stop. Stop before life begins. And it doesn't have to be like on a meditation pillow with candles and incense. No, sit in your bed. I have a station called Spa Suite on Pandora that I love. And Calm, the app, and many others have like nature sounds. And I know that when I hear that, that's like peace
Yeah.
time for me. You can sit on the favorite corner of your couch, go sit in your favorite chair, but you know your home and your routine and what that looks like. Carve out that little bit of time beforehand. And like David G, master meditation teacher says, practice your RPMs. Rise, pee, meditate. That means get up,
That's
run to the
great.
bathroom, come back. It's so funny. And then just sit there for a few minutes. And if it's not as much as you like, tomorrow may be longer. If it's
Right.
way longer, fabulous. And I'm going to tell you, after so many years, there are times when I do sit down and this wants to take, control at the helm.
Mhm.
And I will often tell myself, quiet. That's going to wait. Quiet. Yeah, I know I have A, B, and C, but quiet. So then I'm like, okay. And so what I often tell people is if your mind starts to, especially entrepreneurs and, people that are building their businesses like many of us are at FemCity, you always have ideas coming up, coming up,
Right.
coming up.
Right.
And I think to myself, try and drop into your body because if you try and feel versus think, it switches the focus. I don't know if that makes sense because
Totally.
I feel that when you think, it's like data coming into a computer.
Yeah.
But if you feel, then you kind of like, okay, you kind of get in tune to like, all right, what am I feeling? Am I comfortable? And then the focus switches. Sometimes people will focus like on an AC or a fan that's making a noise, and that will take them away from the chatter in the brain. Whatever works for you. And if it's an app, that fabulous, whatever works.
Yeah, one of the things that I have learned from a really good mentor of mine is to pick like a word that becomes kind of the sacred word, right? And it can be love, it can be action, it can be versatility, it can be whatever word I want in that, right? And as I'm meditating, if I find myself going to my get stuff done list, then I just refocus on that word. And that word then, brings me back into integrating the head, the heart, the body, and the soul. Right. And so,
I
uh,
love that. I
yeah,
love that. I think everyone has their own MO. I find that if I feel
yeah,
gratitude, if I drop into the emotion of gratitude, it just
yeah.
calms me down and gets all that brain chatter just kind of like diffusing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm so grateful that I've had you on today, but I always love to end with a couple of questions. And one of them is, what book would you say has been really impactful in your life and as you continue to transform and evolve?
Sure. I have two actually. The
Okay.
first one is, well, there's so many, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think one of the most impacting ones has been by Nancy Levin, Worthy. Oh my gosh, what an amazing book. I had to listen to that one twice. It
Yeah.
was
I'm in the middle of that one. Yeah.
of Worthy.
Yeah.
Oh, it is amazing. I felt like it was written for me because I had to contend a lot with conditional worth. Like,
Yeah.
not until I do A, B, and C am I worthy of D. Horrible,
Yeah.
but I was guilty of that. And so that book gave me that like alternate perspective, like, no, 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 you have it all backwards. And I did. So I love that one. The other one is Anita Morjani, Dying to Be Me. Oof,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
huge.
That's in my book. Well, like my stack. Yeah.
Oh, you can, an audiobook on that is amazing because Anita Morjani talks about her near-death experience, everything that she learned on the other side and came back to tell. Mind
Nice.
blowing. Yeah,
Nice.
really, really good books.
Thank you. And then if we were to go out to your streaming platforms, what song or genre would you say is most played for you?
Oof, I have so many. I love I don't know. I love the spinning instructor in me
Yeah,
loves a lot of upbeat songs. I love, for example, and one that's coming up again recently. It's not a new song, but it's coming up. Is a Bittersweet Symphony
yeah.
by the Verve, I think it
Oh
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And it is a great song because life is bittersweet, right? It's like a
yeah.
bittersweet symphony. That one is great. Of course, any 80s music, I'm
Yeah.
dating myself, is fantastic. And I do like Latin music because of my Colombian heritage.
Yeah.
So I like a little Latin spice in there, and Yeah, I have a wide variety. I can't
Yeah,
really pick one, but I
that's
do like
okay.
music and exercise.
That's okay. And Anna, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, learn more about meditation, maybe even ask you to work with them, where would you send them?
Instagram, you can go to my name, Ana Tootle, Anna with one N, and Tootle with the funny last name is Tootle. I have a website, anatootle.com, which admittedly is needing some love, and we are up leveling and transforming and working on the website. But really, Instagram, LinkedIn is the best way. I love to teach the average everyday person these mindfulness steps. I also teach to corporations. I can teach virtually, small
Okay.
groups, one on one.
Mm,
I just
perfect.
like to get the word out there that it's not complicated. It's easy and
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for those of you listening, don't stress. We'll have it in the show notes, her website, and that way you can get in touch with her. But Anna, thank you so much for being here today. It's been
Thank
such
you
a
for
pleasure.
having me, Debbie. I'm so glad
Yeah.
we finally figured it out.
I know, me too. And for those of you that listen, thank you. I'm so grateful for you showing up and listening every week. And with that, it's a wrap, folks. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much. That's a wrap for this conversation. I'm so glad you've joined us. Remember to subscribe to the podcast so you can catch all of our future episodes, and visit us at thelituplife.com for details on how you can become part of the Lit Up Life community. A quick shout out to my friend Jackie Wilson and her friends, the creators of our amazing theme music. Thanks so much for allowing us to share this perfect song with our listeners. Looking forward to having you listen in to our next episode.